Hello everyone and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Program where I try to help you spend your wine dollars wisely. Just finished watching Roger Federer make it to round 3 of the Wimbledon. Guy's amazing. Amazing. He's been doing it a long time. Still looks good. Still looks good. U.S. is doing good in soccer, even though I'm not a soccer fan. It's kind of cool to watch it. Actually, I don't watch soccer, but it's kind of cool to hear it. I should be more accurate there. Today we're going to taste some Washington Red Blends. And I've talked about many times before, and all of you probably know, red blends are one of the hottest categories in the wine world right now. Everybody is looking for red blends. You have Apothic Red, you have Bogle Essential Red. In fact, from what I've heard, Bogle Essential Red has usurped Bogle Petite Syrah in sales, which is hard to believe. I mean, Bogle Petite Syrah has been a big player for a long time. A lot of cute names out there, some of them not so good, some of them good. You know, in my wine shop, I don't buy a wine unless I try it yet. I don't care how cute the name is. The wine has to be decent for the price. You know, that's the way it is. So we have 3 red blends here from Washington State. A little story that I'll get into here on how a brand has to be careful when they try to change things up a little bit in their label. Sometimes it's not such a good thing. Classic example, not in red blends, is 14 Hands by Ste. Michelle. They changed to a darker label, changed it up just a little bit. I think it hurt them. I think they lost a little bit of brand recognition. It might come back, but then of course other companies jumped on the bandwagon and said, hey, we're going to do something else like 14 Hands, and I think they stole a little bit of their thunder. But let's get started. First what we're going to do is Script and Seal Red Wine 2008 Washington State, which means they can get their fruit from anywhere. Let me give you a little shot of the label. This rolls in at $10. This is a part of Dusted Valley, which is a big player in Washington State. Now, this wine, this winery, Script and Seal, actually it's produced and bottled by Blind Boar Wine Company. So Dusted Valley doesn't put their name on it, but they're behind it for sure. This is an 08, which is interesting. Makes me wonder what's going on with their sales to still be in an 08. I mean, I'm okay with trying it, of course, but $10 US. They did the thing that is my biggest pet peeve. They left the blend off. I even looked it up on the internet, could not find the blend. That's just stupid, guys. At least tell us what's in it. It's not like some trade secret. I mean, how many, if you feel like commenting, tell me, how many of you out there would like to know at least what is in the red wine? Don't even want to look it up on the internet. You would just like to have it on the bottle. I'm one of those guys. Are you one of those guys? Would you like to see them put at least the grapes? Who cares about percentages? Just say this is Cab Merlot Syrah, Cab Merlot Cab Franc, Syrah Zin, whatever you want. Just put it on the label, please. I think it's a bad play. I've never liked that. I know the TTB or whatever organization is trying to, a lot of people are pushing for, ingredients on the label. I'm not so much into that necessarily as I just want to know what grapes you used in the wine. Let's see what we get on the nose. A little bit of cranberry, cherry thing going on, a little bright fruit. Get a little bit of red licorice. A little dusty component, like dusty rocks. A little even red plums I'm getting through on the nose. Interesting nose, very bright, almost like mouth-watering. You know how you smell sometimes you start to salivate a little bit? That's where I'm going with this one. Let's see what we get on the palate. Cranberries, cherries, and blueberries. All three of those things are coming through. I didn't get the blueberry on the nose, but I definitely get that blue fruit component. Cranberries and cherries all day. It's there. Maybe a little bit of red plum. Nice and bright, which tells me, and should tell you, that this would go well with pizza, with hamburgers, with barbecued ribs. That's what you're looking for with a wine like this. But yet at the same time, I think, at least in my opinion, this is only my opinion, it's approachable enough that you could drink this by itself easily, which is a good sign in a wine. It's pretty straight across. I don't see any fluctuations. No expansion on the mid palate. Stays the same front to back. Good balance. That's what that's telling me. The acidity lingers and get that cranberry blueberry on the finish. It's not super complex. It's only $10 though. You know, sometimes you gotta, occasionally we run across that great wine, shows huge complexity, all these things for under $15, under $10. They're not as rare as they used to be, but they're still not common. Let's just say that. This is a good bottle of wine. Great little food wine. Yeah, that dusty component comes through. I like the brightness, but I also like the fact that it's approachable. It's not so high in acidity, you're puckering your lips. Got a nice long finish. I think that cranberry blueberry thing hangs on. Good bottle of wine. $10, I'm going B minus. For $10, it's a good play. B minus, C plus. So I'm heading more. Let's hedge more towards C plus to a B minus. Good bottle of wine though. It's above average for that price. Okay, now we're moving on to Arch Terrace. Now here's what I wanted to talk about. Arch Terrace, they call it Triple Threat Red Blend Lot Number 2. Now, kudos to you guys. It says 58% Cab, 27% Syrah, and 15% Merlot. So Cab, Syrah, Merlot, very common blend in Washington State. This rolls in at $15. This is part of Arch Terrace. This is part of Terra Blanca's project. Terra Blanca is very famous up on Red Mountain. This is Red Mountain fruit. Yes, Red Mountain fruit. These guys changed their label about a little over a year ago. They changed it to Triple Threat. They used to just call it Arch Terrace Red Blend. They had a lot, whatever. Since they changed it to Triple Threat, my sales have plummeted. Now, maybe because the name isn't, appealing. I don't know. It definitely changed. Maybe the consumer thought it changed and it wasn't the same thing. I haven't tasted it yet, so I'm curious as to why sales have dropped. We used to sell out of this every week. Now I can't sell a bottle of this wine. So wineries, be careful. Do some more consumer, actually instead of consumer surveys, survey the retailers. It's a recommendation. We know. We see it every day. We see what's going on. We see what people like or dislike, what attracts them. Let's see what we get on the nose. So it's got a little stink action going on. Not stink action, but kind of like a black licorice tobacco all day. Kind of a currants and definitely blackberry. It is high in alcohol. Here we go again, boys. Bear with me, boys and girls, as I try to attempt to find the alcohol content, which they always seem to put in small letters. Ah. 13.9, I'm guessing up in the 14 plus range. They have wiggle room on that one. There's a little interesting mocha component, like mocha vanilla coming through on the tobacco and the blackberries. Currants. Let's see what we get on the palate. Actually, I really like the nose, other than a little bit of a burn action on it. Let's see what we get on the palate. very bright on the palate. I mean, like, I would have never figured that out on the nose, but very, very bright blackberry notes, like almost like they're a little underripe. Currants, tobacco, a little bit on the back end. I'm getting a little bit of mocha. Now, I kind of understand now why maybe the sales have dropped on this. This might be too bright for some people's palate. So many folks today drink wine as a cocktail wine. You know, they just want to sit back, kick back. You would not drink this as a cocktail wine. However, that being said, well, some of us. I have a buddy, Matthew. Shout out to Matthew up in Bellingham who runs Chuckanut Distillery. We're going to interview him one of these days on my YouTube channel. He loved acid. I mean, this guy was an acid freak. You know it, Matthew. Acid freak. So he'd like this wine. But that's a small percentage, tiny percentage of the public. This is a bright baby. In fact, it's so bright I'm not getting the true essence of Red Mountain fruit. Licorice and tobacco notes coming through. Really bright, like I said, almost underripe blackberries. Currants, even leaning towards the red currant side. This is lot 2. So this is non-vintage. They might reblend certain vintages. That's the advantage of non-vintage. They have a lot of elasticity in how they can blend they can combine vintages. $15, very bright. I mean, I'd love it. This would be, again, great with barbecue sauce. Great with burgers or pizza with pepperoni, anything, a little grease on it. This would be really good. But just that being said, if those acids calm down in a few years, I mean, it's non-vintage, but it is lot 2, so you have something to gauge it on. Acid may calm down. I think it's a little bit high for the price. I'm going to go C+ on that one. With the script and seal, it's $15. C+. Let's move on to the next one. Thurston Wolf. 2011 Dr. Wolf's Family Red, Horse Heaven Hills, Washington State. This rolls in at $15. They don't get fancy on this label. They just call it a red. The typical Thurston Wolf label. Actually, I think this, I should know, I probably do know this if I just thought about it a minute, but I think this guy's a doctor turned winery owner. And let's see what we get on those. Now this, again, kudos to Thurston Wolf. This is 55% Zin, 25% Petite Syrah, and 20% Lemberger, or Blaufränkisch, as it's called in Austria. Okay. They do a little bit of Lemberger in Washington. They call it Lemberger. Blaufränkisch is kind of the official name, and they allow that now. A little more subdued, not jumping out on the glass. I get some currant notes, a little bit of chocolate, like bittersweet chocolate. There's an interesting like brown, like blackberry stem thing going on the backside. A little challenge on the nose. I mean, there's not a lot. Just it doesn't leap out of the glass. There's some elements there. Let's see what we get on the palate. Okay, now we're getting into what most people are looking for in a red blend. Very smooth and polished. Shows a little attitude on the back end with a little bit of white pepper thing coming through. Very solid dark fruit notes. I get currants, I get a little mocha. I get a little vanilla on the back end of that vanilla mocha. I get a little bit of chocolate tones coming through. Not a huge amount, but a little bit of chocolate tones coming through. Some cherry notes. Has a little bit of a, like I said, attitude on the end. It gets a little bit of minerality on the back side of that. Some tannins come through. Not a huge amount of tannins. This is a smooth puppy compared to the other two. Nice effort. I like it. It's got good weight. It's not over the top. It's definitely not a fruit bomb by any stretch, but it doesn't go into the super dry category. It's right in that mid-road where you get some interesting fruit notes. You get some interesting minerality. A little bit of spice on the back end, some of that chocolate, mocha, vanilla thing coming through, but not a huge amount. Doesn't make you think of like dessert by any stretch. There's a little bit of that blackberry stem thing on the very kind of the back end of the mid palate. Kind of carries into the finish a little bit. Good structure, good balance. This would go with barbecue too, but at the same time you can sit back and enjoy it while you're barbecuing. It's smooth enough, polished enough, but it's it still has great structure. Great bottle of wine. Good job, Thurston Wolf. I'm liking it. I'm going B+, A- on that one for the price. Why do I always dump out the glass at the end? Because you know what? I want to give you guys cheers. Thank you for watching. This is episode number 80. I'm getting close to 100. I know there's some of you out there that are watching a lot. You know, I'm not getting a lot of comments. I'm going to be patient. I think as I develop an email list and send out my videos, I will get more of those. But you know, feel free to comment. Just say, hey Stan, great job. Hey Stan, you know, give me some criticism. I don't care. You know, I just want this thing to progress. I enjoy doing these. I love talking about wine. I love describing them. I love helping you guys find the best bang for your buck. Cheers, and here's to keeping the stomp out of wine.